This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
This just broke. Donald Trump has been held in contempt of court by a judge over the New York State Attorney General's investigation, civil charges against him relative to his finances. Now, I'm going to read a little bit from this New York Times article, but this will back up. Donald Trump is a character who absolutely believes he is beyond the reach of the law, that he does not have to abide by the same rules that we have to abide by. That when documents are subpoenaed and he is ordered by a court to provide them, to produce them, he chooses not to because he's Donald Trump and he doesn't have to do what we have to do. And this is another example of this. Now, the difference here is that we're finally seeing a modicum of consequence for Donald Trump. There is not just a contempt charge here, but also a fine of $10,000 per day that Donald Trump fails to produce the demanded documents. I'm going to read a little bit from this New York Times article entitled, "Judge Holds Trump in Contempt Over Documents in New York AG's Inquiry." Former President Donald J. Trump, ex-President Donald Trump, was ordered to turn over materials sought by Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, and will be fined $10,000 per day until he does so. Now, there is a clause in here that it's not necessarily producing the documents. He has to demonstrate that they've gone through all of the necessary function to actually find and produce the documents. Reading from this article, a New York judge on Monday held Donald Trump in contempt of court. A former president in contempt of court. A man who rose his right hand and swore to faithfully execute the office of president, to be the chief law enforcement, to be a cheerleader for the rule of law. Remember? Law and order. At the Republican National Convention in 2016, law and order. I'm the law and order president. He gasses peaceful protesters in the street a block away from the White House because of law and order.
We will be a country of generosity and warmth, but we will also be a country of law and order. There can be no prosperity without law and order. In this race for the White House, I am the law and order candidate. On January 20th of 2017, the day I take the oath of office, Americans will finally wake up in a country where the laws of the United States are enforced.
And then denies a judge's order to produce documents. Disgusting, hypocritical, gross. Again, a New York judge on Monday held Donald Trump in contempt of court for failing to turn over documents to the state's attorney general, an extraordinary rebuke of the former president. The judge, Arthur F. Engoron, ordered Mr. Trump to comply with a subpoena seeking records and assessed a fine of $10,000 per day until he satisfied the court's requirements. In essence, the judge concluded that Mr. Trump had failed to cooperate with the Attorney General, Letitia James, and follow the court's order. Law and order, right? Mr. Trump, now this is from the judge. Mr. Trump, I know you take your business seriously, and I take mine seriously, said Justice Engoron of State Supreme Court in Manhattan before he held Mr. Trump in contempt and banged his gavel. Lawyers for Mr. Trump had argued that they conducted a thorough search for the records being sought by investigators and found no new documents to provide. But Justice Engoron decided that Mr. Trump's lawyers had not provided sufficient detail about how they searched for the records. Because they're lying, because they're trying to obfuscate, because they're trying to delay. That is all this is. Donald Trump talks about the corrupt Democrats constantly. It's a common refrain. He runs his suck about it nonstop. Where the corruption is here, denying the order of a judge. The contempt order could be short-lived, however. If Alina Habba, one of Mr. Trump's lawyers, files a sworn statement detailing every step that was taken to locate potential documents, the judge might be satisfied, lawyers close to the case said. Ms. Habba said after the hearing ended that she intended to file such a statement potentially by the end of the day. At the hearing, Justice Engeron objected to an earlier statement from Mr. Trump's lawyers regarding their efforts to search for documents, calling it, quote, woefully insufficient and boilerplate. And then finally here, it failed, he said, to continue what, who, where, when, and how any search was conducted. I would contend that the reason it failed to provide those details is because they're lying and they didn't try to search for the documents. Donald Trump has a long history of corruption. He tells banks his properties are worth fantastic amounts of money. And then when it comes to pay tax on those properties, he tells the government that they're dilapidated and they are worth almost nothing. It is either bank fraud or tax fraud or some combination of the two. And you can throw in mail fraud and wire fraud and many other charges. And he is attempting to avoid those by just not providing the evidence. So he's either a terrible businessman who doesn't keep good records, or he's a liar. Which do you suppose it is? What do you think? I would love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can absolutely email me daily@dollemore.com. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for your time and attention. These quick hitters, this just came out and I wanted to get a video out about it. So follow me on social media. You can yell and scream at me there and tell me how wrong I am. That is a fantastic time. Actually, I spend a lot of time being yelled at and being told I'm wrong. Not everybody's a fan. You know what I mean? Some days more than others. Hey, if I provide you some value, if you appreciate what I do and I do something that is a service to you in whatever way, please consider supporting my work here on the platform. You can click the join button below this video, become a channel member for $1.99 a month, or you can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Both those are great ways to support my video production and commentary and analysis on the news on an almost daily basis. I love you guys. I appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine and take care of one another.